So can you tell me about these reports that you talked about that were put into Mexico and Canada? Just tell me a little bit more about the reports and when they were put in.
Well, we established two reports on the impacts that these tariffs that are going into, and that time they were proposed tariffs, right? We've now seen what they could do, right? But our idea was to study how these tariffs could impact employment in the United States, and then employment in Mexico, and eventually employment in Canada. So yeah, we finalized the Mexico report last month, and in May and in April we published the U.S. report. And basically, the U.S. report, we found that there was 4.3 million jobs that are potentially could be impacted by these tariffs and because of these trade disputes. And in Mexico, we identified 4.1 million jobs that are also linked to cross-border trade between North America. So, I mean, you get more than 8 million jobs between both countries that are potentially impacted because of these trade tariff disputes that are going on right now.
And also, can you talk to me about the digital wall that you mentioned? Can you go a little more in depth on what specifically you're talking about when you say digital wall?
Well, the whole idea is of the lack of communication protocols that exist between the systems of CBP and ANAM. And I'm talking about these computer systems that they use to process trade, right? On the U.S. side, it's called ACE, and on the Mexican side, it's called right now PITA, right? So yes, they use this technology to be able to process trade, and the thing is that there's no communication protocols between these two systems that can allow for the sharing of information. So imagine how much more efficient it would be if these systems communicated between each other, or if there was one system that both of them used to be able to, in real time, have more visibility of trade and have more traceability of trade. So when I talk about a digital wall, I talk about that lack of communication that exists between these two systems.
And what kind of communication system would you suggest?
Well, something at least that can have that communication protocol integration, right? I mean, maybe between the systems there does exist communication integration that's possible, but like I said in my panel participation, I was saying it has more to do maybe with trust and social capital issues that they don't want to connect them. But maybe then that's when the whole binational customs agency comes into play. If we have one place where they can coordinate and they can share that security and they can share that information, it could be one system that can be in place through the binational customs agency. All right, thank you.
Now I'm going to just add a couple of more general ones, Daniel.
Those are good questions.
Yeah, I'm very impressed, very pleased with her. So, your overall thoughts on the fact that I was saying to Salvador, this is the sort of forum that I would imagine in years gone by would have been in San Antonio and Austin. But for the Mexican Consulate's office to pull off something like this, to have such a distinguished panel and a very good audience, the numbers here on such... Yeah. Your thoughts on the Consulate's office putting this together?
I think it was a great idea by the consul Judith. It was great on her part to really pull us all together, to look at all of our schedules and be able to find a day to have us all here. I think the importance of the border is manifested in this, right? I mean, we could do this in Brownsville, we could do this in Laredo, we could do this in McAllen. I mean, they're all very important, and to just have it here, and it sends a message of what the border means in this whole USMCA 2.0 renegotiation, right, or review. I think, and I've been saying that the importance of North America is there, right, and it's not, and it's very present at the border, right, because this is where North America starts. It starts at its borders, and in the end, you're putting something integrated that's being held together by its borders, right? It's what glues this thing together. So So North America going forward, it has to be able to maintain itself, right? I mean, the numbers are there, the 30% world GDP that's represented by North America, the $1.6 trillion in commerce that's done on an annual basis by North America. The thing is, we're going to have a North America, it's just going to be reimagined, and we just have to work on what that reimagination is. And that's why we've been putting together all these proposals on the Binational Customs Agency, on the North American Industrial Industrial Policy Coordination Council, because we believe that if we lay a framework, if we lay this foundation, North American can continue to exist through a USMCA 2.0.
Let's say, if you can give me your 3 top bullet points of the things you wanted to get across to this audience today. I know you wanted to talk about your white papers and the amount of research you've produced and developed on this subject, but the most important points you wanted to get across today.
Well, I guess the first one would be what I was just saying, the importance of North America and why it's worth it to be able to work toward maintaining this North America trading bloc through a USMCA 2.0. And the other one would be something very similar, very simple that I try to stress in multiple occasions. It's something that's going to have to be worked on: shared security and shared prosperity. I think that's the way to go. All 3 countries have their own assets. All 3 countries have been working together for many years now, and they all have to focus on how they're going to share these security aspects and how they're going to share this prosperity between them.
And you made the point in your remarks today that in previous years, you were not of the view that you mix security with trade, but times have changed.
They have, and there's no way of getting around that, right? So that's why I've changed my discourse and my research to be, okay, how do we make shared security and shared prosperity work hand in hand? And it can be done, and I think the proposals are going toward that.
Was there anything Tony or Salvador said that struck a chord with you? Anything you learned today from the other speakers?
Well, I mean, I think they're both brilliant. I think they were really excellent panelists to be a part of. I think they all made valid points. I think Tony started off with his scenarios, right? And he laid them out there, and they can all happen, right? I particularly believe in the one that we are going to get a USMCA 2.0. And then Salvador, I mean, when we started talking about workforce integration and trying to do labor mobility, I mean, yes, he has a point. And it's true that it might not be on the appetite of governments right now to talk about immigration and things like that. But I don't think you can talk about bringing manufacturing back to the United States without having labor mobility.
Anything else you'd like to add, Daniel?
No, like always, Steve, thanks for your help, for your time, and for everything.